In recent weeks, Eskom has asked corporates, government institutions and individual users to switch off all non-essential appliances during peak period, especially in this critical time where load shedding has become a norm. Well, right now I'm standing outside the ANC's headquarters, Lutuli House, and as you can see behind me, most of the lights in this building are still on. It's now 8 p.m, well beyond working hours, and still most of the building is lit up. I'm now standing outside the Standard Bank building in Rosebank, and as you can see here behind me, the building is very well lit, beautiful neon lights this evening. Meanwhile, in other parts of Johannesburg, households are affected by load shedding. It's now 9:30. I was just at the Standard Bank building in downtown Johannesburg, and that building too is also very well lit this evening. It's day 2 of our observation of some of the most prominent buildings in Johannesburg. I'm outside the Gauteng legislature, the hub of government activity in the province. And as you can see behind me, the building is very, very well lit. On the top floors, it looks a little dim, but upon closer inspection, you can see that the lights are indeed on each of the floors. As you come lower down, you can see some of the pillars, actually all of the pillars, are very well lit this evening. It's now 8:30. There don't appear to be any people inside the building, and yet it's still very brightly lit. I'm now outside the SARS building in downtown Johannesburg, and they seem to be complying with Eskom's calls to switch off all non-essential lights. Some of the floors are lit. I'm counting around 3 floors that are predominantly lit. The hallways as well are very brightly lit, but most of the 7-story building appears to be pretty dim this evening. So they're trying. I'm now in Braamfontein, standing outside a particularly dark Eskom building. As you can see, the building behind me, there are 1 or 2 spots of light here and there, but for the most part, the building is very dim. Now, as we all know, Eskom has asked consumers, has asked corporates and government institutions to switch off all lights and non-essential appliances during this critical time of load shedding, and it appears that they are complying with their own regulation. However, if you look at the small shops just below the Eskom offices, they're still very brightly lit. It's almost 9 p.m. and the displays are very, very visible, so maybe someone should talk to them. But otherwise, Eskom, great leading by example. Behind me is a Transnet building, another major government parastatal, and I'm kind of 50-50 on this one. As you can see behind me, the bottom half of the building is very, very brightly lit at 9 p.m. in the evening. The top half of the building is very dark. So they are complying, but at the same time, they're not complying. Maybe there's an explanation for why their building is half bright and half dark. We'll give them a 50%. Behind me is the City of Joburg's offices where it all happens, where electrical bills are compiled. And it appears that they are saving electricity. It's quite a large building. It takes up quite a bit of land. And the only floors that are particularly lit are about I'm counting 4 floors that are very lit, as well as corridors on the side. And this is a very, very large building, as I mentioned. So they are doing well to comply with Eskom's plea to please switch off all lights and non-essential appliances. So I give them a thumbs up.